Okay, let's get into this. We've been looking at some really interesting developments coming out of Burkina Faso. Maybe not the first place you think of for major global economic shifts, but something significant is happening. And it all kind of centers on this one specific object, a 5.7 kilogram gold bar.
Right. And at first glance, you might think, well, gold bars get poured all the time. What's the big deal?
Exactly, that's the natural reaction. But here's the twist, and this is really what we need to unpack for you today. This particular bar, it's fresh out of the ground, essentially, but it's not heading off to Switzerland or Dubai or London.
Those usual hubs for refining, for trading, it's skipping them.
It's staying right there in Burkina Faso. So the big question is why? Why is this one single gold bar causing such, let's call them murmurs in global mining circles? What's it telling us about what's really going on there beneath the surface and maybe even beyond? That's what we want to explore today. The immediate ripple effects and, well, the bigger picture implications of this move.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, as you said, is how much it deviates from the standard practice. I mean, historically, gold mine in places like Burkina Faso, it flows out almost immediately.
Right.
That's just how the global system has been set up for, well, for a long time. You've got these established centers, Switzerland, London. They have the advanced refining, the deep financial markets, the, established trust.
So it's the path of least resistance, usually.
It has been.
Yeah.
So Burkina Faso deciding to hold on to this 5.7 kilo bar, it's a very deliberate step away from that. It's symbolic, absolutely, but it's also potentially very practical. It signals a move towards keeping the value inside the country.
Okay. That phrase, internal value retention, let's break that down a bit. What does that actually look like? Are they like building up a national reserve or is it something else?
Well, it could be a few things, practically speaking. The exact plan will really shape the impact. They might be looking at using it to back, say, a national development fund. That's one possibility. Or maybe investing it directly into building local processing facilities, add value before anything gets exported later on.
Ah, okay. So moving up the value chain themselves.
Exactly. Or it could simply be about building strategic reserves just to give themselves more economic stability. But whatever the specific path, it's a foundational move. It's saying, we want to do more than just dig this stuff up and ship it out.
Right. They want to participate more fully in the whole process.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that fundamentally challenges this system where the processing, the trading, the big profits often happen far away from where the resource actually came from.
Okay, so on one level, this feels like a really powerful move, asserting control, sovereignty. But stepping away from those established global markets, I mean, they exist for a reason, right? The liquidity, the infrastructure you mentioned, surely there are some big economic hurdles here. What challenges does Burkina Faso face by, keeping this gold at home?
Oh, absolutely. You hit a critical point there. The intention might be clear, but the execution, that's definitely complex. For starters, setting up your own domestic refining, it takes huge investment. You need the tech, the facilities, the skilled people. It's massive.
Yeah, not cheap.
Not at all. And then, okay, let's say they do refine it. They need to find reliable markets for that refined gold. Or if they just hold the unrefined gold as reserves, they have to manage the price swings, the volatility.
Which the big global markets help smooth out, usually.
That's part of their function, yes. So this move could mean higher costs up front, or maybe less immediate access to those big liquid global markets. That's why countries have traditionally relied on the external hubs. It forces Burkina Faso to essentially build from the ground up something the global system already offers.
It really sounds like a tough calculation then, weighing those immediate costs and challenges against a longer-term strategic vision. And if we zoom out, like you said, this isn't just about 5.7 kilograms of metal. It speaks volumes, doesn't it, about controlling your own resources, about national sovereignty. For so long, we've seen situations where the wealth extracted from a nation doesn't seem to, well, fully benefit the people in that nation in a direct way. So keeping the gold within their borders feels like a very powerful statement against that pattern. Could this specific action, even though it's just starting, kind of set a precedent, or at least spark a conversation for other resource-rich nations?
I think it absolutely could, yes. It directly challenges that core assumption that raw materials have to be processed and traded elsewhere. For any country sitting on valuable natural resources, it forces them to ask, how do we make sure our wealth actually builds our future? How do we ensure it contributes directly to our development, our sovereignty, instead of mainly boosting economies somewhere else?
So it shifts the focus.
Thank you.
From just extraction.
To value creation.
Yeah.
And value retention.
Right.
Within their own borders. And that is a significant mental shift. You know, it suggests this isn't just some random one-off decision. It feels like a very clear signal. We're reevaluating the old ways. We might be looking to break that historical cycle.
Yeah. And you mentioned something earlier, a cultural context that makes this even more resonant.
Right, and it's something really profound.
Yeah.
There's a well-known saying in the African diaspora, I am because we are, and we are because I am.
I've heard that.
It's more than just a nice phrase. It's a deep philosophical outlook. It speaks to collective well-being, mutual dependence, community. And if you apply that lens economically, well, by keeping its gold, Burkina Faso is essentially saying, we are the collective. The nation is stronger. When the wealth generated by I, the nation's resources, stays with us.
Stays within the community.
Exactly. For collective benefit. It's about prioritizing that internal value, that community strength, over just plugging into an external economic flow that might not trickle down effectively.
Wow, that really reframes it, doesn't it? It stops being just an economic or political move. It becomes something rooted in identity, in a sense of collective purpose, like a family deciding to invest in itself first before sending money elsewhere.
That's a great analogy, precisely. It prioritizes that intrinsic, national, or communal value over the conventional export models we've seen for so long. And it could potentially create a new kind of blueprint for how nations rich in resources engage with the rest of the world. It really makes you question, what's the real value of resource if the benefits aren't truly felt by the people in the land it comes from?
So thinking about the future then, what does this single act by Burkina Faso, this gold bar staying home, what might it suggest about where things are heading with global resource control, about the power of nations wanting more say over their own wealth? How could this one decision influence others, maybe even force a bit of a shakeup in those established global economic relationships? Definitely something for you to think about.